my views, and, well, for the next hour, they're going to be views of Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster, and he's going to bring us up to date on all the exciting things that are happening throughout the world. And obviously, there's tremendous manipulation in the stock market. There's tremendous manipulation as far as the price of gold and silver is concerned. There's tremendous manipulation as far as the price of oil is concerned. On one hand, we had one person, I think it was George Soros, talking about $300 dollars a barrel for oil. And we have Robini, an economic professor, saying that certainly the price of oil is overpriced at the present time. Everything is done to confuse us. And if you understand that, when they put out all this conflicting information, you understand you're supposed to be confused. Then you can take a step back and start to look at things objectively. And, of course, to help you with that is our good friend, Bob Chapman. Hi, Bob. How are we doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Well, why don't you bring us...
I'm just thinking about what you said there, and both of those gentlemen are very strange individuals, to put it mildly, and one's a criminal, the other is mentally unbalanced as far as I'm concerned. And they're disinformation specialists. Change agents. They spew 95% of the time what's really going on, and the other 5% is for confusion, chaos, propaganda, and so on and so forth. And you're absolutely right, Stan. We saw a good example of that this past week with the Iranian elections. The United States is telling us that this is a spontaneous demonstrations when there's no question that they planned and instigated them. And, the public doesn't know, and the polls prior to the election showed the president and the incumbent with a comfortable, accepted lead. And when he wins by 62%, everybody gets bent about it because the United States says it just couldn't be. I think the United States should worry about their own elections, and the fraud that goes on is incomparable.
Well, really,
and it's none of our business what they do.
I think, we've been spending $200 or $300 million a year trying to topple the government over there that we installed back in 1979. People have forgotten we actually overthrew the government, the democratically elected government, Mossadegh in 1953. We overthrew the Shah in 1979 and installed the mullahs, and now we're trying to, destabilize that government and overthrow the mullahs. And, of course, why are we putting out $200 or $300 million a year trying to overthrow the government of Iran? And these are spontaneous demonstrations. But my wife was commenting that she saw something on television recently where a reporter said that he was at one of the meetings, and this guy is holding up a big sign in English there at the Iranian. In the streets of Tehran saying, what happened to my vote? And the man holding the sign turned to the reporter and said, can you read English? What does my sign say? Obviously, somebody had given him a sign. He was just carrying it. And this is how, of course, you arrange revolutions. You finance it. You provide for the signs. You get the people out in the streets. You get these things instigated. And then we can sit back and say, we would never interfere with what's going on. Listen to what the Iranian government's saying. The Americans are interfering in our elections, and I believe we are. The question is, what do we want and what should we replace this one with? A moment here. Well, this is Dr. Stan, and Bob was just talking about Professor Robini. Now, he is now frequently quoted on by all of the experts and all the news services. Ladies and gentlemen, we have thousands of economic professors across America. Why don't they quote other professors? Why do they always go to Robini? Why, very, very simply. He is one of their people, one of their experts. There are a few people out there, like Bob Chapman, of course, who will occasionally be quoted, who is reliable, but so many of the so-called experts that they pick are the ones who are going to give the information that they want you to have that's going to mislead you. And, of course, it just as so many people lost almost half of their life savings when the market collapsed in September of last year. So most people are going to lose the rest of what they have when the market collapses again, either later this year or next year. It's only a matter of time before it collapses. And if Mr. Rubini is trying to get people out of gold, he is obviously part of the establishment. You'll find that the really smart people, like the people who run PIMCO, PIMPCO, and John Paulson, these people have multi-billion-dollar, hedge funds. They're getting into gold. And what's happening when they're beginning to buy gold and there's a shortage of gold? The price of gold drops. How could that possibly be? It's very, very simple. They manipulate the prices. And when you understand that, you understand that one of these days they're going to run out of gold to manipulate with, and then what's going to happen? But you pick up the story, Bob. People don't want to hear me. They want to know what you have to say.
You sure?
I'm absolutely certain. At least I want to know what you have to say, so go right ahead.
I thought I'd bring a little levity into the conversation.
Okay.
Seeing that Mr. Rubini is I can't tell you in the year what I know, but it is terribly unsavory, and someday it will come out. And but he is not a nice character. In fact, I think he's insane. And with that said, we'll leave them to themselves. Today was another typical Monday in the stock market. The plunge protection team, the working group in financial markets, came in early on, and they tried to get the market up, and they were very, very unsuccessful. In fact, the market was off a couple of 100 points on the day and should have been off probably about 300 points. They did rally it toward the end, but it was unsuccessful. The sellers just came back with a vengeance. At the same time, they ran down the commodity market, particularly the prices of copper and oil, which were the key runners on the way up. And they banged gold and silver around again because Thursday is option expiration day.
All right, could you explain to our listeners what that is? What is auction expiration day, and why is that important? Why do they have to get the price down before Thursday?
Well, because anybody who has bought an option that is in the money will get paid. You know, the commercials on the COMEX are nothing but high-priced bookmakers. And so you might say, well, I want an option to purchase 1 million ounces of silver at $13 an ounce. And you buy that option for a price. Well, just recently, gold or silver was over $15 an ounce. And lo and behold, late last week, and then again today, silver was hit. Silver was $13.30 approximately. And so if you look, and you can't see it, but I can, if you look at the number of options outstanding, you'll find out how far down they want to take it so they don't have to pay anybody off on their bets. And the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Corporation, a government agency, is standing there, and they do it every single month, and nothing is said.
In other words, basically, they're manipulating. It's illegal to manipulate the stock market. The Commodity Trading Board knows they're manipulating the stock market and doesn't intervene. And, of course, the poor people who've been foolish enough to buy options get taken. Is that right?
That's right. They're thieves. And the CFTC and the SEC are not protecting you. They are thieves as well. Your government is a thief. Wall Street banking and insurance are a group of thieves. Believe me, I can promise you that.
All right, fine. So basically, of course, then you think that they'll keep the price of gold and silver down this week? What about next week and the week after that? Do you think that things will come back before they fall, or do you think that they'll wait until, certainly until September or October? The old adage of buy in or sell in May and go away. So it is an old slogan on the walls at Wall Street. In other words, things really are pretty poor or don't do very well during the summer. So should we sell in May and go away, or should we just hang in there and hang tight?
But Stan, you read the International Forecaster, and you know.
Well, I know the answer, but I'm talking to the...
We told people that at 8,800 on the Dow, 8,500 on the Dow, you sell. It's time to get out. It's up about 40, 50%, depending upon what index you look at, or which index you look at. And so the selling has been underway for a month and a half. And it will continue through the summer on low volume. How far it'll get down remains to be seen. There's no telling. If I had to guess during the summer, I think it easily could get down to 7,800, maybe lower.